Hello, everybody. RMJ Movie Reviews back again. Alright, everybody. Now, by special request, I am now coming with my movie review of the Jean-Claude Van Damme classic, Bloodsport from 1988. Actually, what I have here is obviously a double flip side reverse DVD package that has another classic, Showdown in Little Tokyo, with Jean-Claude Van Damme's first starring role, Bloodsport, from Canon Films. Man, let me tell you again, Bloodsport is an undisputed 1980s kung fu classic, man. As everybody knows, that this is the movie that put Van Damme, Jean-Claude Van Damme, on the map. When this film had come out, my cousins had actually told me about this film, and this was 1988, so we were like little kids. I think I was in first or second grade when this movie came out, and my father had actually took me and my cousins to the video store on the weekend, because when we used to spend the night over each other's houses, we would always go to the video store. So he took us to Earl's video store, and I remember we were going through all the Friday the 13th and the Critters and the Schwarzeneggers, and I don't think Seagal had been out yet, or he might have just done Above the Law, but I didn't know who Seagal was at that time, and I didn't know who Van Damme was. And we came across this movie, that cover that I just showed you, with Van Damme like this, right? And my cousins were like, "Oh, Bloodsport, that's a good movie." Me and Pop was my grandfather, gentleman who's, he's no longer with us. But Pop we used to stay up late at night in the 80s and in the early 90s when they still had the late night movie. And we used to watch like kung fu movies and stuff, and they just kept saying, and my cousin Dries and Jamal were just like, they were like, "Oh, the Bloodsport is great." And I remember looking at the cover like, who is that dude? Who is that dude in the tights like this? What? And they were like, "Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme." And I'm like, who is Jean-Claude Van Damme? Who? I mean, when I saw the cover, and you see Van Damme had that goofy haircut back then, I just thought, I was like, this sucks. What is this? Where's Arnold? Where's Rocky? Who is that? So either way, we rented it, watched it, and I loved it. I love Bloodsport. I just loved it. I showed it to my older brother. He loved it too. Matter of fact, he dubbed it from 2 VHS. Cause y'all remember how we used to do it back then. Hook up 2 VCRs together and dub the tape. He dubbed it, before we returned it to the video store. Of course, Bloodsport tells the story, as if I actually have to tell you guys, of Frank Dukes, who's in the military. He goes to Hong Kong to fight in this underground triad-approved fighting tournament known as the Kumite. And I can't remember what exactly the coordinator 3 guys say, but they've been fighting there for centuries. And right now the current champion is a psychopath known as Chung Lee, who takes pleasure in kicking his opponents in the throat, punching them in the face, snapping their legs in half and killing them, and sometimes just having his opponents walk away basically mutilated and in a wheelchair. So, Frank Dukes is basically out to stop him and anybody who gets in his way, and that's the story of Bloodsport. One of the cool things about Bloodsport is all the various different fighting styles that they have in this film. They have multiple fighting styles in this film that, I mean, you get kind of jiu-jitsu, karate, sumo wrestling. Of course, the famous one that I remember we all used to talk about at that time was the monkey dude, who kind of does all this, and I'm not doing the monkey movements right. He kind of karate chops and jumps on trees and chops coconuts and all that stuff. I don't know. I think I might have been a little bit hesitant about playing that role if I'd have been that dude, obviously. But whatever. It's just a cool kung fu movie along the lines of other tournament pictures like Enter the Dragon. I think Bloodsport is definitely. And here's my thing. I was actually reading some retro reviews about this film. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, I guess when this film had came out, was rated like the worst newcomer to grace the screen. And Bloodsport had got like bad reviews. Apparently, it did very well at the box office. I don't remember it seeing any advertisements for it in the theater as a kid. But then again, it was from Canon Films, so low budget film company that's not defunct. But apparently it got bad reviews, and I think I remember reading a review from Roger Ebert about Bloodsport, or actually I think I remember seeing it on Cisco and Ebert. You guys might be able to find it online somewhere, but I remember one of them or both of them saying something really negative about the movie. And I'd be perfectly honest, looking at this movie as an adult, I don't think that this is a bad movie at all. I actually think it's a good movie. I just think people were just, especially in the 80s, I think they were just very unfairly biased against anything that had men with muscles, or if they did karate or they shot guns. They just want to trash him just to trash him. And as far as Jean-Claude Van Damme being the worst newcomer, I just don't think that's fair, because I will say out of, definitely between, and this is my opinion, I will say out of the action his counterparts of that day, I say that Van Damme is probably the second best actor behind Stallone. Arnold kind of slightly improved, but still he was in the box. Seagal, we know he couldn't act his way out of a paper bag, without a blindfold. Van Damme actually he exerts a lot of charisma, and you can see that he's really trying with his acting. Van Damme always try. He always, even if it didn't come out good, there's some movies that his earlier movies when he was in his 20s and his 30s that he was flat in, like Lionheart and Death Warrant. I think he's really flat in those films. But Van Damme actually tried. He exerts emotion. His English is a little tough. But even still, I think he was a better actor than people actually wanted to give him credit for, and he had a lot of charisma. And also his athletic ability at that time. I mean, who can forget the splits and the spin kicks? He's a little bit slower when he does it nowadays, but you can't forget that. That's a Van Damme trademark of that time. And anybody who remembers Van Damme, we always think of the splits and the spin kicks. I mean, he was always so graceful when he did that. I also forgot that Forrest Whitaker is in this movie. I totally forgot Forrest Whitaker was in this movie. He's kind of a military guy military cop who's chasing after Frank Dukes. Because supposedly this movie is based on a true story. Supposedly now that the Frank Dukes guy, I think they said that he made this stuff up. I don't know for sure, but I know him and Van Damme had got into it in real life, and Frank Dukes sued Van Damme and over this movie, just all kinds of crazy stuff. And Bolo Young, of course, he's the very silent and menacing Chun-Li. Does a fantastic job, just like he did in Double Impact. Of course, he was in Enter the Dragon. Donald Ogre Gibb from Revenge of the Nerds, he puts on a very brutish, kind of typical arrogant American who drinks beers and hits on girls and wears tennis shoes. I mean, very typical of the time. Of course, the movie has the cheesy synthesizer theme song where they go Kumite, Kumite. We all remember that. There's the cheesy, musical montage from all 80s movies where the hero has to be very dour and be thinking about how he's gonna redeem his friend, and just stuff that's staples of the time. This is just a fun movie, man. And then you have the reporter chick who wants to dig into all the details about the Kumite, and then she's repulsed when she sees what a bloody, vicious tournament it actually is with her very poofy, permed out 80s hair. It's just fun, man. I really like Bloodsport. It's absolutely my most favorite Van Damme movie. Out of the ones that he did when he was in his prime, because I pretty much think everything after Time Cop was just, sadly I gotta admit I even like Double Team with Dennis Rodman, but that just has really good action. But everybody knows that Van Damme was coked out in that movie. You can watch the movie and tell he's very gone. But this Bloodsport is a great flick, man. I believe it's a genuinely good movie, and I think Van Damme put out an honest performance. His acting may not be the best, but I think the guy tried, man, and I think he had a pretty good range of emotion, more than people really wanted to give him credit for. And also, strange on a trivia note, Van Damme is also known like Seagal. He doesn't abuse stuntmen, but Van Damme apparently, knocks out actors from time to time. Apparently, Van Damme supposedly poked out a guy's eye on that movie Cyborg at the end of the film with a plastic knife. And I did see the actual court case. He sued Van Damme and won, and I saw the footage. I think it was on E or something back in the '90s. And when he was filming his reality TV show, they were doing behind the scenes. I think the movie was From Hell, some horrible directive DVD movie he did. But Van Damme actually did kick this stuntman in his mouth and knock dude's tooth out. I'm telling you, it's on this TV show, y'all. You can find it on YouTube. It's I guess Van Damme is not that good coordinated. He can do the spin kicks, but I guess he just doesn't know how to not pull his punches and his kicks. So, and of course, who can forget the triple cut editing of Cannon films and early Van Damme films, where like you see the exact same punch from like 3 different angles, where it kind of goes like boom, boom, boom. That's basically how you hide the fact that there's no contact. I wish action films would still use that editing technique, but of course, and there are scenes too where you see that the punch doesn't land, but they still put in a sound effect anyway. It takes you out of it a little bit, but the martial artists and the fight choreography is so good, I can let it pass. But Bloodsport is an absolute classic. I love it. It's my favorite Van Damme movie out of all the ones he made when he was a younger guy. It's a fantastic movie. For younger viewers out there, I really think you should check it out. But that's my movie review of Bloodsport with